Most people do not know how to think. When they're faced with a problem, they will go to any length to avoid thinking. They will ask advice from the most illogical people, usually people who don't know any more than they do, next-door neighbors, members of their families. Very few of them have reference books. But much more important than that, only one in I don't know how many thousands will take a large notepad, write the problem at the top of the page, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do, realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10,000 years of human civilization. Of all the scientists who ever lived, it's estimated that 90% of them are alive today. We've reached in the area of ideas and human advancement a plateau so high it was undreamed of by even the most optimistic forecasters as recently as 30 years ago. But every new idea triggers additional ideas, so that now we're in an era of compounding advancement on every front and in every area that stagger the imagination. The harnessing of the power of the sun in our atomic plants and ships, the speed of light computers which in minutes save months and years of calculating drudgery. Every man-made thing you see and touch spawned from the most powerful agency in the world, the human mind. Dr. Harlow Shapley of Harvard has said that we're now entering an entirely new age of man. He calls it the Psychozoic age, the age of the mind. And you, my friend, own one, free and clear. Now let's look at a few facts. The 40-hour week long standard is in imminent likelihood of being even further shortened. This means that the average working person has at his disposal an enormous amount of free time. In fact, if you'll total the hours in a year and subtract the sleeping hours, if he or she sleeps 8 hours every night, you'll find that this person has about 6,000 waking hours, of which less than 2,000 are spent on the job. Now, this leaves 4,000 hours a year when a person is either working or sleeping. These can be called discretionary hours with which that person can do pretty much as he or she pleases. So that you can see the amazing results in your own life, I want to recommend that you take just 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, and devote this hour to exercising your mind. You don't even have to do it on weekends. Pick 1 hour a day on which you can fairly regularly count. The best time for me is an hour before the others are up in the morning. The mind's clear, the house is quiet, and if you like, with a fresh cup of coffee, this is the time to start the mind going. And here's one good way to do it. During this hour every day, take a completely blank sheet of paper. At the top of the page, write your present primary goal, clearly, simply. Then, since our future depends upon the way in which we handle our work, write down as many ideas as you can for improving that which you now do. Try to think of 20 possible ways in which the activity that fills your day can be improved. You won't always get 20, but even one idea is good. Now remember 2 important points with regard to this. 1, this is not particularly easy. And 2, most of your ideas won't be any good. When I say it's not easy, I mean it's like starting any other habit. At first, you'll find your mind a little reluctant to be hauled up out of that old familiar bed. But as you think about your work and ways in which it might be improved, write down every idea that pops into your head, no matter how absurd it might seem. Let me tell you what'll happen. Some of your ideas will be good and worth testing. The most important thing, however, that this extra hour accomplishes is that it deeply embeds your goal into your subconscious mind, starts the whole vital machinery working the first thing every morning, and 20 ideas a day, if you can come up with that many, total 100 a week, even skipping weekends. An hour a day, 5 days a week totals 260 hours a year and still leaves you 3,740 hours of free leisure time. Now this means you'll be thinking about your goal and ways of improving your performance, increasing your service. 6.5 full extra working weeks a year, 6.5 40-hour weeks devoted to thinking and planning. Can you see how easy it is to rise above that so-called competition? And it'll still leave you with 7 hours a day to spend as you please. Starting each day thinking, you'll find that your mind will continue to work all day long, And you'll find that at odd moments when you least expect it, really great ideas will begin to bubble up from your subconscious. When they do, write them down as soon as you can. Just one great idea can completely revolutionize your work and, as a result, your life. If you want to develop the muscles of your body, you take daily exercise of some sort. The mind is developed in the same way, except that the returns are out of all conceivable proportion to the time and energy spent. The mind of man can lift anything. His muscles, even the best developed, are puny alongside those of some of the dumbest animals on earth. If man had depended on his muscles for survival, he probably would have disappeared, as did the dinosaurs, which were, incidentally, the most physically powerful and most successful creatures that ever lived. Let me give you just some of the results people have reported to me as a consequence of following this 1 hour a day routine. An office equipment salesman sold more of his company's product in 1 month than he had formerly sold in an entire year during the 4 years he'd been with his company. A Sunday school teacher with 5 pupils set a goal of 30 pupils. Her last letter told me she now has a class of 25. She's almost reached her goal. I've used this system for years, and it's given me some of the most gratifying and rewarding experiences of my life. And it costs only 5 hours a week. 5 hours out of 168. Is it worth it? It's like spending 5 hours a week digging in a solid vein of pure gold, because your mind is all of that and much more. Each time you write your goal at the top of the sheet of paper, don't worry or become concerned about it. Think of it as only waiting to be reached, a problem only waiting to be solved. Face it with faith and bend all the great powers of your mind toward solving it. And believe me, solve it you will.
Now, when would be a good time to start on a good idea? That's simple, isn't it? Right now, today. That's the time you want to start on your good idea. And you're going, but Larry, I got a lot of things planned today. You don't understand. You see, I got to stop by the cleaners, and then I got to go by the grocery store on the way home to get some bread and some milk. And then when I get home, oh man, Larry, I'm really tired. I got to kick back for a little while, watch a little television, then I got to fix dinner, and I got to sit down with the family, spend a little family time. Yeah, I don't care. You got a big list of excuses of all the stuff you got to do. Here's what you got to do. Today, you've got to get started on becoming a better version of who you really are. Today, not tomorrow. That's really the key idea. There's this great quote by General Patton who said, "A good idea implemented today is better than a perfect idea implemented tomorrow." I like that. I really like that idea. And that's what I've always built my business on. That's what I've changed my life based on that one quote. Just do it today. Always today. I don't have time. You see, if you're one of those people who says, "Oh, I got plenty of time." No, you don't. There's no time. There's absolutely no time. Let me ask you a couple of questions. If you want to increase your sales, when would be a great time to start calling more customers? How about next month? No, that won't work. You need to start doing it today. That's when you ought to start calling more customers. If you've got an employee that's done a great job, when would be a great time to go over and say thank you and point out what a great job they've just done? Not tomorrow. You'd want to do that today, wouldn't you? If you have an employee that's absolutely incompetent and they're ruining your business and they're insulting your customers and they're causing chaos throughout your business, when do you want to get rid of that employee? Well, not tomorrow. You want to do it today. When should you start doing anything that's really worth doing? You need to do it today, not tomorrow. Never tomorrow. Always today. Remember this, TNT. TNT. Today, not tomorrow. There's no time. Do it today. And here's why. You might be saying, it's going to take more time for me to get ready. No, it isn't. You need to work fast. Speed is what's going to keep you on track. You need to work as fast as you possibly can. Let me tell you why speed is important. When you work out of a sense of urgency, you will work from your gut. Your gut will do the right thing before you can outthink yourself. You see, if you sit back and say, well, we need to plan this and we need to think, and I'm not saying go off half-cocked and just get started on something. That's not what I'm talking about at all. But the more you plan and the more you think about it, and the more you strategize, the more you do all of those things, you're going to start to take shortcuts. You're going to start to say, well, we could save a little over here, we could do this over there. Don't do that. Instead, just get started. By the time you have strategized about it, chances are you could have probably already finished. So I'm saying work fast, do it now, create a sense of urgency. Remember, there's no time. You have to get it done. And you know, when you expect to get the work done quickly, the work will get done quickly. That's what I've discovered is amazing. Work takes as much time as you allow for it. If you don't allow much time to get the work done, it won't take much time to get the work done. So get started and get started right now. You can improve your life today. When would be a good time to do it? Today, not tomorrow.
It's easy to have faith everything is going to work out when everything is working out. It's much harder to have faith when you are facing challenges in your life. But that is exactly when you need to apply your faith. Because faith is believing in the unseen. Faith is taking the first step. Faith is jumping in the deep end and knowledge everything will be okay. It's easy to be positive when everything is working out. It's much harder, much harder when nothing is working out. But that's when we need it the most. Everything worth the price is worth the fight. Everything worth the prize will require a real fight to achieve that prize. If you want the prize, you can't quit at halftime. You can't quit mid-season. You must play the whole game. Preseason, through the cold, through the darkness, through the challenges, the opponents. You will be knocked down, but you must get up. Keep fighting. Dig deep and discover your true strength. Then you will win the real prize. Character. Expansion. You rise into the next level. If I survive the storm, I can outdo the norm. To break through the norm, I must first survive the storms. To have more than most, I must do more than most. Believe more than most. Learn more than most. Sacrifice more than most. Believe more than most. Now, say to yourself, long term, I know what I need will come my way. Long term, I know if I keep it I will be rewarded. Long term, I know consistency pays off. Long term, I know all my actions, all my discipline, all my integrity will pay off in a big way. I have faith everything will work out. In the end, all will be fine. If I keep working, if I keep learning, if I continue to evolve, if I continue to adapt, if I learn new ways. Setbacks aren't always negative. Sometimes they are sent to guide us in a much bigger and better direction. But you can only see that if you show character in those hard times. If you remain open-minded in the hard times. If you show strength through your struggles. Don't say why me. Ask, how can I come out of this stronger? What can I learn? In the hard times, we see who really has the character. In the hard times, we see what people are really made of. What are you made of? Tell me, what are you made of? Character, expansion, growth and pride. Character, expansion, growth and pride. Dig deep. Find that strength that lives inside you. Trust that if you keep doing your thing, you will be rewarded. It might not happen right away, it rarely does. But it will happen if you keep going. Don't allow regret to enter your life. Don't you dare look back on your life in 5 years and think I could have done more. If only I stuck it out, I could have been in a much better position. No. Look back with pride. Look back and be able to say to yourself, it wasn't easy, but I am so proud I stuck it out. Because I got my rewards. Make sure your story is one of strength. Make sure your story is one of someone who refused to give up. Refused to settle. Refused to be normal. Keep going. Your future self is begging you.